The door didn't just close. It slammed. The kind of sound that makes a room freeze mid. Conversations died. Sneakers stopped squeaking. And when everyone turned around, they didn't see a coach storming out. They didn't see a staffer panicking. They saw Paige Bueckers walking away, head down, jaw tight, gone. And in that moment, nobody followed her. Not because they didn't care, but because what had just happened on that court left everyone completely stunned. This wasn't supposed to happen like this. Team USA Camp in Las Vegas is sacred ground. This is where legends are protected, where hierarchy matters, where rookies learn their place. And yet, in less than an hour, Caitlin Clark flipped that entire order upside down. Before we even get to Paige walking out, you need to understand the tension in that gym. Day 3. The point where pleasantries disappear. The point where veterans stop pacing themselves and young stars stop pretending they're just happy to be there. This is where reputations either harden or crack. The names in that building alone carried weight. Finals MVPs, Olympic gold medalists, players who've been the face of women's basketball for over a decade. They weren't giving anything away for free. And then there was Caitlin. No speech, no hype, no drama. She showed up early, took shots, stretched alone. Not cold, not distant, just focused. Like someone who knew the noise didn't matter once the ball went up. The veterans noticed, especially the ones who've survived multiple generations of next big things. They've seen hype before. They've seen it fade, but this felt different. When scrimmage time came, the gym shifted, energy sharpened, defenses tightened, and on the very first possession, Caitlin pulled up from deep. Not heat check, deep, logo adjacent deep. Swish. No, celebration. Second possession. Same confidence. Same result. Silence. By the third trip, defenders were scrambling. Traps came early. Doubles flashed. Caitlin adjusted instantly. Drive, kick, easy bucket. Her team started moving faster, believing faster, and here's where it gets uncomfortable. Paige Bueckers was guarding her, not struggling in a humiliating way. Paige is too good for that, but struggling in the worst possible way, the kind that forces a realization, the kind that creeps into your chest and won't leave. This wasn't a media rivalry anymore. This was real. And with every possession, the gap felt louder. By the time the scrimmage ended, Caitlin had done something nobody expected her to do this quickly. She took control of the gym. And that's when Paige stood up and walked out. But what Caitlin did next, that's the part they never wanted you to hear. Here's what most people don't understand about that moment. Paige Bueckers didn't walk out because she was angry. She didn't walk out because she was embarrassed. She walked out because something snapped into focus. And she needed air. Because inside that gym, the hierarchy everyone pretended didn't exist suddenly became very real. After the scrimmage, there was no trash talk, no pointing fingers, just a strange, uneasy, quiet. Coaches huddled, veterans whispered, and Paige sat on the bench longer than usual, staring at the floor, replaying possession after possession in her head. This wasn't about missed shots, it was about rhythm. Caitlin controlled it, dictated it, bent it to her will. Every time Paige fought over a screen, Caitlin slipped the timing. Every time help came early, Caitlin punished it. And when help came late, you already know what happened. Swish. The hardest part for Paige wasn't that Caitlin scored. It was how effortless it looked. Because Paige has always been the one with feel, the one with balance, the one who makes the game look easy. That's been her identity since high school, since the world crowned her the future. But in that gym, for the first time in a long time, someone else looked inevitable. And that realization is brutal. Sources say, when Paige stood up, no one stopped her because everyone understood. Veterans have felt that moment before. That moment where you realize the game didn't pass you by. It just found someone new. But here's where the story takes a turn. While Paige was gone, while the gym buzzed with uncomfortable energy, Caitlin stayed on the floor. She didn't celebrate. She didn't look around for validation. She kept working. Extra reps. Same spots. Same calm. And then, something unexpected happened. One of the assistant coaches called everyone back together. No speeches. No lectures. Just another run. And Caitlin, she didn't ease up. She leaned in. More communication, louder direction, calling out coverages, telling teammates where to be, not asking, directing. That's when the veterans noticed something that changed how they saw her. Caitlin wasn't trying to outshine anyone. She was organizing the chaos. And that's leadership. By the time Paige returned as clearer, posture steadier, the dynamic had shifted. Caitlin brought the ball up, looked at Paige directly, and nodded. Not smug. Inviting. Like she was saying, let's go again. And Paige nodded back. Because whatever had pushed her out of that gym, it had also lit something inside her. But the real shock wasn't Paige leaving. It was how Caitlin responded, and what she said next made everything unmistakably clear. This is where the story stops being about basketball and becomes about identity. When Paige Bueckers walked back into that gym, the air felt different, not tense, focused, like everyone knew the next few minutes mattered more than anything that came before. No one spoke. Caitlin already had the ball. She didn't call a play, didn't look to the sideline, didn't slow things down. She looked straight at Paige and said two words that cut through the room like a blade. Watch me. Not loud, not disrespectful. Certain. The possession started. Paige picked her up full court. Active hands. Locked in. This was pride now. This was the competitor everyone knew. She fought over the screen, stayed attached, forced Caitlin wide. For a split second, it looked like Paige won. Then Caitlin changed pace. One hesitation. One dribble between the legs. A sudden stop. Paige flew past. Caitlin rose from deep again. Same spot. Same confidence. Swish. This time, there was a reaction. Not cheering. Not groaning. Recognition. Because that shot wasn't about points. It was about timing. About knowing exactly when to assert yourself. About telling the entire room, this is my moment and I'm not giving it back. Paige didn't hang her head. She responded. Next possession. She attacked downhill, strong, controlled, drew contact, finished through it, and she let out a breath that sounded like relief. Because now, it wasn't Caitlin versus Paige. It was Caitlin with Paige. And that's when something clicked for everyone watching. The media always framed this as a rivalry, a comparison, a debate. But inside that gym, it became something else entirely. Mutual respect forged under pressure. The scrimmage rolled on, and the two of them started feeding off each other. Caitlin pulling defenders out to the logo. Paige slicing through the space it created. Paige locking in defensively. Caitlin rewarding it with perfect timing. The gym came alive. Again. Veterans started talking, smiling, competing, because this is what Team USA had been waiting for. Not a replacement, not a takeover, a passing of responsibility. And by the end of the run, when the whistle finally blew, Paige walked past Caitlin and said something. So quiet, only one person heard it. But Caitlin smiled. Not because she won, because she was finally being challenged the way she wanted. And that's why Paige walking out wasn't the breaking point. It was the turning point. Because what happened next, after practice ended, is what truly shocked everyone. Asterisk, this is the moment that locked everything in. After practice, after the sweat dried and the noise faded, players filed toward the locker room in small groups. No interviews, no cameras, just exhaustion and reflection. That's when Caitlin Clark did something nobody expected. She followed Paige Bueckers, not to confront her, not to gloat, but to talk. Sources say it wasn't dramatic. No raised voices, no long speeches, just two players sitting on a bench outside the locker room, shoes untied, replaying the session in their heads. Paige finally broke the silence. She said, I wasn't ready for that. Not angry, honest. Caitlin didn't apologize. She didn't downplay it. She simply nodded and said something that changed the tone of the entire camp. Neither was anyone else. That line spread fast. Not because it was cold, because it was true. From that moment on, the dynamic inside Team USA shifted. Practices got sharper. Communication got louder. Roles became clearer. Caitlin didn't shrink. After making her statement, she expanded it. She asked more of teammates. She demanded more of herself. And Paige, she didn't fade. She responded. More aggression, more confidence, more edge. Like the challenge lit a fire instead of burning her out. That's the part they tried to hide. This wasn't about someone getting pushed out. It was about someone stepping up. In the world of WNBA engaging stories, we talk a lot about rivalries, about who's next, about who replaces who. But this wasn't replacement. This was evolution. Caitlin Clark didn't take Paige Bueckers' spot. She took responsibility, and Paige didn't lose anything. She gained clarity by the end of camp. Insiders say one thing was obvious. There was no longer a question about whether Caitlin belonged. The only question left was how the rest of the team would adapt. Because Team USA didn't just witness a breakout performance, they witnessed a shift in leadership. Paige walking out wasn't weakness. It was the moment she realized the standard had changed. And Caitlin's response, it wasn't words. It wasn't hype. It was action. And from that day forward, nobody in that gym ever looked at her the same way again. Not as the future, but as the present.